Hello, it's me again. I know, it's been longer than I promised or said, but I have a valid defense for that, and that's because I had so much uni work to do. A lot. And in the process of that as well, I suffered from an art block. And if you don't know what that means, it means I basically didn't have any motivation or inspiration to actually create anything on Blender for a good while. But I thankfully am finished with uni work for the time being. I get new work next week, so it's not lasting very long. And I've also found an inspiration photo. It was a photo of a makeup look, and it sparked this deep inspiration to create something in Blender. And it's a bit different for me because you never guess what, for the first time, I'm not using the liquid chrome add-on. Crazy, I know, it's actually blew my mind as well. Also, as you would have noticed, I've had a haircut during the whole time as well. What do you think? Do we like? Personally, I really like it, but you guys let me know what you think. If you don't have to, it's fine. So I think first off, I'll quickly show you the inspiration photo that started this little project, and then we'll get into the video. So this was the inspiration that started it all. I found it on an Instagram account that posts a bunch of different looks from various makeup artists, and I just absolutely love it because you could probably see why, because it reminds me of the stuff I've done with liquid chrome. But I will from now on go throughout this video not talking about it, I promise. So this was the inspiration, and I also did a little bit something else different that I haven't tried before, but I won't spoil anything. Also, if I figure out who the makeup artist is, I will link it down below. But I think without further ado, we'll just step right into watching the sped up video. So here we are in DAZ 3D again, and I'm using a new model that I purchased specifically for this project, which I'll link it down below. It's called Nala. It's adorable. I just love the base so much. I think she's so cute. And right now it was really quick. I barely adjusted anything because already I just really liked how she looked, and I thought it was perfect for what I wanted to do. And so now I'm in Blender and imported it through. As you can see, the eye and like the teeth were kind of messed up when importing it, so I had to just fix that really quickly. And so the first thing I did was I put the ears in a bit, because you'll see why in a sec. But so I went into the shader editor and kind of adjusted the skin properties a bit in the nodes to kind of make it look a bit more shinier, make it look a bit more skin-like, I guess. And here I was just sorting out the lighting to get kind of the base down to have a better reference for when I'm looking into render mode. And initially I did try texture painting in Blender for what I wanted to do, but it was not working. So what I ended up doing was as you would have saw, I screenshot a portion of just her face and I imported it into Photoshop, and I did the design over the top. It made life so much easier, and because on Blender it was so hard to do what I wanted to do. And this was when I first found out there was a mirror tool in the brush settings on Photoshop. Loads of people probably already knew that, but I don't, because I don't draw on Photoshop, I just 3D model. And that's why this is a bit different for me, because I wanted to step out of my comfort zone and just kind of try something new, because I really wanted to push the boundaries with this one. When I say push the boundaries, it wasn't that revolutionary, but it was different for me. And so I was just cleaning up a lot of the rough edges with the rubber or the eraser, and then I exported just the design as a PNG and imported it in, and I imported it as a stencil so that I could position it by pressing shift right click and moving it over the top of the face, and I just brushed over the top, and then you get that. Exactly just like a stamp, pretty much. It was pretty perfect. And then I also wanted to add a little bit of colour, and I was feeling mauve. Or mauve? Mauve? Yeah, the colour mauve. I think it's mauve. Or mauve. Might be mauve. So I wanted to add a little bit of like a light mauve wash as an eyeshadow over her eyes, and I also did it as a blush, and I thought it looked so pretty. But this mauve colour led to the whole like colour theme for the whole project, as you'll see. But I'm pretty proud of how it came out. Now, here's the part I didn't tell you about. As you can see, I've duplicated her whole head. And that's because I'm making a balaclava. I know, crazy. But not just any balaclava, a fluffy balaclava. Because I really wanted to play around with the hair particle system more. And I've always wanted to kind of play around with like fur or fabric or stuff like that. It gives more texture, makes it look more realistic. And it just makes it look more interesting as well. So what I did was I just duplicated the head and cut off the ears and like the whole like face, then moved her back, and then I started sculpting the head around the ears as well and around the face. This part was very finicky because, as you can see, it was very rigid along the whole outline of the face because of the shape of the faces that were on the face. Made it a lot more rigid. But I got it done in the end. This was one of the slowest parts, was because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and so any little ridge would really irritate me, so I was constantly going back and forth with just playing around with it until I was satisfied with how it looked. And in the end, I realised that it wouldn't have been noticeable anyway, so I learned from my mistakes and I would have saved a lot of time, pretty much. But just playing around with it more, making it to my liking. Added a subdivision modifier because I wanted it to look a bit more smoother as well. Subdivision modifier is brilliant. And here is where we start with the hair particle system. This part, I lie about the last part, this part was the longest part. I cut out a lot of this part until I got to the part where it actually worked. It was a long process of trying to figure out the right values for everything, because I think the topology on the head was just really off and it wasn't perfect for the hair particle system, but I got it there in the end and that's all that mattered. What I figured out was that I had to decimate the head so that I had less faces. So if you run into the same issue as I did, decimate it until it's down to like, I think I got mine to 2,000 faces and it was fine after that. So here I started setting up the camera so I could, if you don't know, I've said it in my last video I think, I like to render during the process to see how it looks in the render, because I find it's easier to look at where I need to make improvements or where I need to change things about it. So I recommend rendering throughout just to keep checking if everything's looking okay. So I started setting up the actual scene and the render, and I was feeling pinky, but then I was like, oh, it's too bright. I wanted more mood. I wanted more realistic lighting or just more depth. So what you'll see is I added a point light behind the head, and it just instantly, like, well, you get you'll see, but it's like a halo around the whole head and it just looks so beautiful and lovely. And I added 2 other point lights on like the top of the head and the bottom to just add more moody lighting. This part I played around with for a long time as well, because I'm a bit OCD when it comes to lighting, and I've been trying to learn lighting a lot better in Blender too, and I think since practicing more lighting in Blender, it's improved my projects a lot. So I recommend that when you start using Blender. But yeah, as you can see, the halo, it just looks so pretty. So I played around with the colours a lot as well, and you'll see in a bit I will go back to a more dark mauvey colour, I think anyway. Can't remember. Here, I wanted to add like more depth. I wanted like her bodice was, just a bit too much. It felt out of place, and I was like, I need to add more depth. So I added a cube and made it a volume, principled volume shader in the shader editor. And so it basically makes it look like fog pretty much. And this way it added more depth to the actual photo in the end. I guess a bit more lifelike. I can't really explain it. It just needed it for the photo I was doing. It just added a lot, and I'm happy I ended up adding that in the end. So here, as you can see, I'll be playing around with the colour a lot of everything. It's quite a process with choosing the colour. I think a lot of people who use Blender will know of the feeling when you're trying to get the perfect colour in your head, because you have it in your head, it's trying to get it perfect in the actual project. So here, this, I think, is the final colour I decided on. And I also added a little septum ring piercing, which was just using a circle curve and then up in the geometry on the depth. Aha! And now we're coming to the end. And at the end, I decided to add cat ears because she needed a little bit of something. And I thought cat ears would be super cute. But yeah, this video was really short. A lot shorter compared to all my other videos. But this whole project and video was just trying to get back into the swing of things with Blender, because I haven't used Blender in a while. So that's basically the premise of what this project was for. And overall, I was really happy with how it came out. So that's pretty much it for the process video. So this is the final outcome, and I'm genuinely really happy with how it came out. It's very different for me, but I like that. And I just absolutely love how the hair came out on the balaclava. I think it looks so cool. But like I said, this was a short video, just trying to get back into the swing of it. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you some sort of inspiration. Like all my other videos, that's like the main reason I do these videos, is that I really hope to inspire others, and also to try to get people out their comfort zones and not get scared to try these things, because there's no harm in trying, especially in a creative area. You got to keep trying. No matter what mistakes you make, just keep pushing through it and you'll get somewhere. And I'm still not the best at Blender by any means, but it's all about having fun and expressing yourself creatively. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. And any helpful links, I'll link them down below. Also follow me on Instagram. Apart from that, I'm gonna go. Goodbye!